Hello guys, welcome back to the show. I hope you're well. It has been a while. So today we're going to be having a look at a watch that actually I've had for about 6 months. I bought it, I've been wearing it constantly. To be honest with you, I've been wearing it so much I've completely forgotten to review it. But today I realised in a panic, I got the camera ready, I've set everything up, so we're going to have a look at the Vostok Amphibia. So Vostok's itself, a watch company with a lot of history, deeply rooted in that of the Soviet Union as well. And the watches that they've created are pretty quirky, they're pretty out there, they have a vintage aesthetic, but they also have a little bit of character about them as well. They're a little bit quirky, and that's what I really like about these Vostok watches. So I'm going to show you the one that I've got. I've gone with a conservative black dial, but with the scuba dude on there as well. I still think it has a bit of a super 70s look, and I think it looks really good when you put it on either a shark mesh or a NATO strap. Now during this review you'll see it on a NATO strap, but putting it on a shark mesh strap, again, quite a good option. I may switch it there. In fact, I probably will, because I flip-flop a lot between different watch styles. So at some point I'll probably put on the shark mesh as well. But enough of my rambling. Let's have a look at the watch itself and see what I think about it. So let's take a look at this Vostok Amphibia. So usual specs that it comes from with Vostok. You've got your standard case on there, Vostok case. You've got the absolutely horrendous bracelet. If you do buy one of these, you're not buying it because of the bracelet. It's very cheap, it's very tacky, it snags your hairs, and as you can see with this one, I've not even taken it out of the cellophane wrapping, so that just goes to one side. What I did do, as you can see, is swap out the band for a NATO strap, and I think that looks quite nice, especially with the black dial. So there's a couple of different options I had on here. I had my James Bond style 1960 Sean Connery, so with the black sort of darker green and red on the 5 stripe, or I've had the black and grey, which is more of an updated one from Spectre. But in the end I actually settled on the black NATO strap because I think it complements it very well, especially this dial, the old scuba dude with the black face and the white indices. As you can see, you've got your 12, 9 and 6. 3 o'clock window, you've got your date complication. The hands have got some lume on it, although I'd have to say the lume is pretty shoddy, but this is what you get when you pay less than $100 for a diver's watch. Uniquely, you've got your screw down crown, and as we all know, with the Vostok's crown, it's a little bit wobbly, and it's because the crown stem actually isn't intact with the watch movement itself, which means that if you bash it or knock it in any way, it's not going to damage the movement of the watch itself. Pretty nifty thinking from Vostok, if I must say so myself. So you've got a bi-directional bezel, doesn't really click. Again, it's more there for show than anything else. There's no click, there's no keeping it in place. You knock it and it will go back pretty easily. But, you know, it is what it is. And any of you guys know the history with Vostok, you'll know that this watch is a little bit of a miracle when it comes to engineering. So back in the Soviet Union, so Vostok, as I mentioned on the Komandersky video, was the original supplier to the Russian military, to the Soviet Union, and they chose not to use the innovations that were coming out of the Western movements, Western watches that you were getting with the likes of, you know, sort of Rolex, Omega, and all of the others. So instead, what they did is they had to come up with relatively inexpensive materials to make a dive watch that was very sturdy and would last the time. So what they did instead is you've got your domed acrylic crystal on the top. It's actually quite a nice domed effect as well. You can see sort of the Cyclops effects. I really do like that. And what you've got on here is you've got an outer seal and then an inner seal, so that the gasket on there that actually holds things in place and keeps it watertight on the back doesn't shear if you take off the back of it, because you've got a secondary ring which protects it. Again, very handy thinking, and I don't really know why other watches haven't done this in the past. So the idea with this watch, with the back and then with the acrylic crystal that's domed at the front, this watch actually gets more water resistant the further down you go. So officially this is 200 meters of water resistance. Apparently it can do much more than that, because the further down you go, the more water resistance, the tighter the seals and everything gets. And it's one of the reasons why this watch is just so beloved. And you know what I have to say is just really look at it. I mean, it is a really, really pretty watch. You know it's inexpensive, you know it's cheap and nasty, but at the end of the day, it is lovely for what it is. And I think it is my favourite Vostok, the Amphibia. I will probably get the Kommandersky again at some point, but not the bog standard Kommandersky, but the waterproof Kommandersky, just to see how that marries up with the Amphibia. But you know, I think it's really iconic. It's a little bit out there. It's very 70s, especially with that domed sort of look, and it really makes such a difference when you see it from there, especially in this light as well, when you can see how it reflects and how it's nice and shiny. Obviously with the acrylic crystal, you are going to need to get some polywatch out every now and again, just to clean up the dial and just to make it look nice and shiny. But you know, this watch is firmly my weekend watch. So if I am going out somewhere in terms of in the weekend, so if I'm going for a walk outside or anything like that, I'll tend to throw on the Vostok. The Vostok is also my watch if I have to do chores and stuff around the house. So it's a little bit of it's a new beta watch that I have. It's not going to be, you know, something dressier, and it's not going to be something that you want to have purely for, you know, sort of going on a holiday and diving. This is really a multi-tool watch, something that you can sort of just stick on and not care about, which is quite nice for me because I am perpetually accident prone. So I've been gushing about the Vostok Amphibia, and here we go on to 5 reasons why you should buy a Vostok Amphibia and add it to your collection. First of all, it is a 200 meter diver watch for under $100. Now that is a really good price for a digital watch. Sorry, not digital, an analog watch with a lot of history behind it. You're getting a 200 meters of water resistance. That is a great price. Secondly, that screw down crown is going to protect the movement itself. It means that if you're particularly accident prone like myself, you're not just going to bash it and break the watch and, you know, bust the movement going forward. In fact, what will actually happen is it'll protect it a bit more, which is fantastic. As mentioned before, you've got the gasket at the back, and then you've got the dome acrylic crystal at the front, which means that in the 200 meters of water resistant, it gets more resistant the further down you go as well. So they're all big plus points in terms of design of the watch itself. Point number 3 is that it has a real super 70s look about it. You know, you look at the dial itself, it is absolutely fantastic. You know, Vostok have changed little bits and pieces with it over the decades, but they've really stayed true to that design. So point number 4 is that you can choose so many different shapes and colors with it, so you can have different dials. You can get all sorts of different dials, including compass style dials, just indice dials, numbered dials like this. The case itself can be more circular, or it can be more square like this one here. And the dial itself, you can have red, blue, green, black, pretty much all the colors of the rainbow, with and without the scuba dude, and with other things on there as well. Absolutely fantastic for the price. And point number 5, so the final thing that I think you should, was one of the reasons why I think you should buy this watch, is that from my point of view, since I've had this watch, I have been completely unafraid when wearing it. There are certain watches that I've bought that have been a little bit more expensive, and I sort of tiptoe around wearing it. I think, oh, when should I wear that? When would it be good to sort of put that one on? And, you know, can I have it around my kids and all of that kind of stuff, just in case they go and break it? With this one, no bother at all. I just sort of leave it around the house. I'm wearing it for when I'm doing chores, when I'm doing lots of dirty work, and this watch sort of comes through every single time. It's a lovely looking watch. You're not afraid to scuff it, and it's really sort of a tool watch, and it goes into its military history and background, and it certainly means that you're just unafraid of getting this watch getting this watch dirty, getting this watch scratched up, because at the end of the day, this is what the watch was made to do. It was made to serve the military. It was made to be very, very robust and very inexpensive as well at the same time. So those were the 5 things that I like about the watch. So what 5 things do I not like about the watch? So let's have a quick look at this watch and, get into the nitty gritty of it. So first of all, I'm not so bothered about it, but you've got the acrylic crystal here. Acrylic crystal means that it will scratch very easily. If that's not you and you prefer sapphire, then there are plenty of watches that you can get. You just have to pay a little bit more money for them. It is what it is at the end of the day. If that's not really for you, then it's not really for you. No judgments. Number 2 is the fact is that this watch itself can be very basic when you buy it. So a lot of people love Vostoks because they are basic watches and because they're very easy to customize and look after. That's one of the reasons why I love them so much. But some people don't like that. Some people aren't tinkerers. They just want to have a watch that they like and they don't want to add to and think, oh, I wish I had this and I wish I had that. If that's your thought process, then don't get a Vostok. A Vostok will drive you absolutely insane, just because the things that you can get on here and you can add to it, but the basic models are what they are. Number 3, going on to the basic features, the strap is absolutely horrendous. I have reviewed many a watch in my time, and looking at this strap on here, it snags the skin. The clasp itself is pretty shoddy. I'll show you the action now. So there we go. It's a little bit stiff as well, but you can see there are much better straps. You can get them on eBay for much better, and I've not even taken the cellophane off, so you may not see this on the video, but it's still wrapped in its cellophane, and I will not be wearing that even if I am drugged and forced at gunpoint. I probably wouldn't wear it then either. But what you can do for the money is buy yourself a nice NATO strap or a rubber strap with it, or even a shark mesh strap as well, which is one of the other options I had. I actually put a shark mesh strap on this, and in the end I opted for the NATO strap because I just think it looks very nice with the watch itself. But there are lots of different options that you can have. Don't be afraid to customize as such. Point number 4 is Vostoks. You have to buy them from certain places. So just as you've got your AliExpress for certain cheaper watches, with Vostok you really have to find the right retailers. Now they are online, they are on eBay, but there are a lot of people, for example, that sell directly to the UK and are in the UK or are in the USA, and the watches will be overpriced because otherwise they know that you're going to have to wait 4 to 6 weeks for the watch to come in. Now I never mind. I've never minded waiting for watches to come in. In fact, it's one of the things that I like to do. I order them, completely forget about them, and then a few weeks later you see them sort of coming in and you think, oh yeah, I did order that. That's a fantastic watch. I can have a look at it now. So number 4 is prepared to wait. If you're not a very patient person, then you can pay more for it. I'm not one to judge, but I will always wait and make sure that I can get the best price for it. And finally, point number 5 is the movement itself. So it's a Vostok in-house movement. It's quite vintage. It's not really changed that much since they first introduced it. But one of the things to remember with this is that it is a cheaper watch, so the movement is going to have different levels of accuracy. So I've seen some of them that have been 30 seconds out a day and have been sort of quite wild in that regard. So this watch is really a statement piece. It's not one that's going to be particularly accurate. It's one that's going to be there to sort of do the job. But if you're happy with that, then again, Vostok might be a good choice for you. If that's not something you're into, then I would probably look for a different watch instead. So there you have it, a 200 meters of water resistant dive watch for under $100. Great points about this watch is you've got the domed acrylic crystal and the gasket at the bottom, which allows for 200 meters of water resistant. That actually gets more resistant the further down you get. That's pretty cool. You've also got that super quirky 70s design. Again, I really like that. I think it really lends itself well to a timepiece itself. Not so great things. I didn't mention the loom on there because it's under $100. Of course, you are going to have loom issues. Also, one of the things I didn't mention on here is that if you don't like customizing watches, then Vostoks potentially aren't going to be the watches for you. If you do like customizing watches, then Vostoks absolutely are going to be great for you, because if you like to tinker around with watches, if you like to remove bezels and put new ones on there, if you like to have a look at customizing the crown, all that kind of stuff, you can do that very easily with a Vostok. Vostoks are made to be tinkered with as well. But one word of warning, if you do buy a Vostok Amphibia, make sure that you have an extra $10 to $15 or £10 if you're in the UK, just to make sure that you buy a nice strap to go with it, because you trust me, you will not like the silver, the stainless steel silver strap that you get on there. It is absolutely heinous, and the best thing for that is just to be thrown away as soon as you get it. What does a Vostok Amphibia look good on? It looks great on a NATO strap, as you can see. It looks fantastic on a shark mesh strap. It also looks good on a rubber strap, on the silicone strap. So it just depends on your style, what you want to wear the watch for. I like the military aesthetic that you get with a NATO strap, so that's my core choice. But of course, there are plenty of others. But anyway, thank you for your time. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to put a couple of links below to our website. Have a look on there. Tell me what you think. Any comments are much appreciated. And again, I will see you guys in the next video.